Hi everyone, I'm Marinella Mastrosimone, UX/UI designer at Radical Beat. I have a confession to make. I'm a bit of a geek, just like many of you. One thing that's always fascinating me is getting my hand on the latest innovative tools as soon as they come out. I've dismissed quite a few of them, some have been phased out like Flash for those who remember, but AI, by now we all know it's the start of a whole new era. In the next 30 minutes, we'll explore the three key areas where design and artificial intelligence intersect in three quick shots. Enhancing our capabilities in this design process, designing solutions that make technology accessible for people from all walks of life, creating interfaces for those working at the core of AI. But most importantly, we'll discuss the responsibility we have as designers in today's society, where UX plays a crucial role as the connection between humans and advanced technologies. Why Leviathan? In the Old Testament, the Leviathan is a sea creature symbolizing power and chaos, a force that challenges the known order. In the 1651, the English philosopher Thomas Hobbes used it as a metaphor for the state in his book Leviathan, portraying it as strong central entity that ensures social order. I know I'm going back to the Stone Age, but trust me, it pays off. The cover of the first edition shows a giant made up of countless individuals, representing the collective power of the state. Now let's think about AI. Like Hobbes' Leviathan, AI is an immense and frightening force built from our collective interaction, which must be governed to avoid spiraling out of control. This evolving beast is already changing the dynamics of our society, and for some, it's threatening many professions. As with any innovation, the real question is how we can use it to our own advantages. But before we dive into answering that, let's take a step ahead and analyze where we are today. The true technological revolution happens when innovation aren't just technical or scientific, but deeply transform the way we live and work, said Nicolas Negroponte, foreseeing the digital age with Wired. Today, artificial intelligence is making these words more relevant than ever. AI has been in our lives for years, but now everything feels new. Take chatbots as an example. Eliza, the first chatbot for 1960s, simulated a psychoanalytic conversation. It was only accessible to researchers and computer scientists and was a timid first attempt at creating a conversational interface. Its responsive were predefined and unnatural, much like the chatbot we all used in the recent decades. Today, models like ChatGPT and Gemini are writing a chapter in this story. Building on sophisticated machine learning algorithms, this chatbot can generate coherent and contextualized text, opening up a scenario we couldn't have imagined before. The first time I used ChatGPT, I saw meaningful responses appear, one character after another, in almost human language. It was like opening a door to a future that seemed straight out of a science fiction book. And that is thanks to UX that AI feels so natural and intuitive. What do you think? Do you ever wonder where exactly we are in this race towards the future? Thomas Kuhn, the guy in the photo from the 60s, gave us a new framework. One I encourage you to explore to better understand our time. We are in a period of transition where there isn't yet a unified vision, but rather many approaches, models, and ideas, all competing to take the lead. AI is no longer just a niche technology, but like every scientific revolution, it brings moments of tension and conflict between old and new ideas. Our Leviathan is still young and needs to be shaped. This world is still wide open for us to invent. How can we, as designers and users, actively participate in AI's evolution instead of fearing it? Here's another interesting figure, Ethan Mollick. He's a professor at the Wharton School University of Pennsylvania, specializing in interpretership, innovation, and the impact of AI on education and work. He argued that no one truly knows how this new intelligence will evolve. I share his view and don't believe those who claim to have unlocked secret to extracting the full potential from these tools because there is no secret solution. There is no way to know what these models are capable of in your field. You are the expert, and you can be an active participant in discovering what AI can do for you. If you're waiting for someone to hand you a set of instructions from above, know that the real instructions won't come. When we talk about AI and the state, we can't ignore an important aspect that Joy Bolamwini was brought to light with both strength and grace. She founded the Algorithm Justice League to expose biases facial recognition system, demonstrating how these technologies have high error rates, especially for women and people of color. She's an advocate for fair and transparent AI, working to raise public awareness and influence policies around the ethical use of artificial intelligence. Through her research and activism, she emphasized the importance of creating technological systems that don't perpetuate discrimination but respect the rights of all individuals. As product designer, we can't overlook this issue. We must recognize the central role of our profession plays in developing ethically sound products. In Europe, there is strong attention for the state to regulate these aspects, while in US, things seem to be more liberal. So it's up to you guys. Since now I shared some reflections that have guided me along my journey, drawing inspiration from great thinkers of the past and the professionals I admire today. I'm not a philosophy expert, but I hope these ideas sparks new collections for you and let you to ask even more interesting questions. Together we can advance our field in direction that's sustainable for people, for the planet, and of course for the robots. But now let's dive into the first of the 3 points we'll be exploring today. Designers as users. How can we elevate our own potential? The experts often use the co-pilot metaphor, and they're right in suggesting that we should see these tools as assistants, not as dominant intelligence that dictate our choices and thinking. Honestly, I'm one of the worst drivers I know, so that metaphor doesn't really fit for me. I can't wait for the day when I can do my nails while the car drives me to my destination. But as a true Italian, I found my perfect metaphor. I love cooking and coming up with new recipes. Ideally, I'd use top quality ingredients, but I don't always know what's in seasons by heart. And let's be honest, I hate chopping onions. And I'm quite sure you hate it too. That's where my sous chef comes in. It helps me with the task that I don't want to do, or where I know my sous chef, who's pretty savvy, can find solutions quickly. Or I could just hand everything over to it. It has all the fancy tools, but honestly, his taste, it's a bit questionable. Now, let's see what happens if I have to prepare a gourmet dish, but I don't have time, so I let it handle everything. I could write a simple prompt created with minimal effort, but with all the right informations. The goal is achieved. A dish that meets the specification, made quickly, pretty good, not always super original or too creative. It wasn't exactly the recipe I had in mind, but it's not so bad. It's edible. And in my investment and fun was minimal. In my personal experience so far, this is what you get when there's a little creative input and few iterations. Pre-cooked food. AI create a jagged technological frontier where some tasks can be easily managed by AI while others, despite seeming similar in difficulty, are currently behind its capabilities. This is what happens when you stay in control. You've taken a bit more time to define your goals, maybe sketched out a plating idea, and discussed with your sous chef which seasonal ingredients could replace the ones from the original recipe. You've cooked, tasted, adjusted seasoning, and best of all, your rice didn't water because you haven't chopped the onions. Right now, there's no comparison to what you can achieve in UX when you set the rules of the game. In the same amount of time as before, you've done more steps and probably ended up with results that are 35% better than when you were cooking on your own. And you likely completed 12.2 percentage more dishes. I don't know if you've used AI plugins in Figma yet, but in my experience so far, the results still feel pretty immature. What do you think? The main issue is that the outcome is often far from what I had in mind. For now, we have not total control out of the outcome. That's why I was talking about this being a pre-paradigmatic phase, probably just for a while. The tools have immense potential yet to be fully explored. Given the technical aspects, the role of UX, we designers still play a crucial role in achieving our goals and in educating Mr. AI to align with our tastes and preferences. Back to our metaphor. What's better? From my point of view, it all works. If you've done your best with the time and tools you had, if you've achieved the best possible result, that's great. You've done a good job. It all depends on the business goals because let's not forget there's a market for both of those dishes. We don't get paid to be creative. We get paid to deliver results, to achieve the best possible outcome within the required time frame. Every product has its own target audience. A recent paper from Harvard Business School explores the performance implication of AI on realistic, complex, and knowledge-intensive tasks. They found that you don't have to be a master prompt engineer to make the most of these tools. You don't have to be an expert to use it. Using AI isn't like coding. Code doesn't push back, doesn't have moral constraint, and shouldn't provide a different answer every time. So, use it often. Use it in your own way and discover where it excels and where it falls short for you. Engage with it for all your needs because the only way to truly understand it is to immerse yourself in the experience. We've already mentioned that there's no instruction manual, and I'm certainly not here pretending to have one. What we can do is ask the right question. The tool I use most are ChatGPT, Gemini, and Midjourney. Unfortunately, I haven't had access to the demo version of Figma AI. I don't feel comfortable recommending specific tools since you can find endless lists everywhere and they might be outdated 5 minutes after I mention them. What I can share is how I use these tools, drawing from my personal experience and experience with courses, certifications, and reading that have inspired me. There is not a one size fits all solution. It's up to you. Based on your context, your team, your personal characteristics, to figure out where you can excel on your own and where you need to and where you need support to maximize your potential. For example, writing tasks bores me, almost like cutting onions, but I want them to align with my thinking. So I created a system prompt in ChatGPT aligned with our standard in Jira that has a significantly sped up this process. I can finally avoid using lorem ipsum or fake data in my mockups. I have them generated by my robot friend and then validated by my human friends from marketing and data scientist team. I can also get help aggregating data clearly to present my analysis. But most importantly, I get to keep the fun part for myself because I truly love my work. Let's run the table. You can use ChatGPT or Gemini to ensure that every screen and every step you've designed adheres to agreed upon rules and requirements. Have you ever thought about it? This is crucial for avoiding costly correction down the line. When working with data visualization, we must be certain that everything is accurate. We can't afford discrepancies in data we present to the user. A small typo may seem trivial, but it impacts a perceived quality of our work. We need to be diligent in correcting them. AI can help. In the paper we mentioned before, interestingly, they found there is only minimal improvement on tasks we already excel at, but less reliability on those where we are less skilled. So my main piece of advice is this. Always ensure that you truly renew the material produced to guarantee its reliability. The time we save through assisted tools should be invested in expanding our knowledge base. This will not only allow us to create higher quality content, but also to manage it with greater awareness. We need to focus on improving our digital literacy and invest it in foundational training. It's only by being well prepared as designers that we can master technology rather than be swept away by it. Another aspect we need to think about is related to the ethical and legal aspects. The shadow of the Leviathan returns. Before diving into AI, for designer analysis or creative work, there are a few key things we need to check. First, we should stick to company policies and keep personal information safe by masking it. It's also crucial to get clear consent from any data we use and for anything AI generates, ensuring we comply with regulations like GDPR, the AI Act, or CCPA. This goes beyond just legal compliance. It's about being responsible. When I'm working for my company, I play it safe with data. However, always being responsible, I prefer to keep things open for personal projects. I believe in open source values, and I want to share my value to contribute to education of the collective intelligence. By learning and adopting these tools early, based on our needs, we'll understand them better as they mature, because in part we will have helped shape them. Each of us is an atom of this Leviathan. And by using it, we can educate this giant ethically, contributing to a future that is more suitable to welcome us both as professionals and as humans. Here's the second level of relationship between UX and design, human-centered design. Currently, the most of the capital invested in AI is being funneled into research on superintelligence, machines far smarter and more efficient than us, an infrastructure that enables much faster processing than we have today. These infrastructures are consuming enormous amount of energy in AI. And for now, the danger of LLM is that they still remain imprecise. These models currently present many limitations in terms of precision and accuracy, but they also have more serious issues like severe biases such as those addressed by Joy Bolamwini, the artist we saw earlier. We designers can't ignore these issues. We must actively understand them as we design, so that we can manage them as early as possible and clearly communicate some limit or issues to our users when possible. The higher the risk, the more stringent our warnings and error prevention must be, or the limitations must be clearly stated. Let's consider high-risk software like those used to support remote surgery. But also, we shouldn't underestimate our educational role with end users who are starting to use tools far beyond their own expertise. Sometimes the risks are great, sometimes less, but we can guide and alert the user through the interface we design. This is Camilla, my punk anarchist cat.
Mastrosimone,
Computer,
chiama
stop.
quello delle monete.
Computer, stop per favore. This is Camilla, sorry, my punk anarchist cat. Some of you might remember her from my design system talk last year. She jumped on my desk when I was talking. I created this image with Midjourney, but I think I'll tweak in Photoshop to get the result I really want. I created this image with this Midjourney, but I think I will tweak it in Photoshop to get the result I really want. It's a it's a glitch. Midjourney is one of my favorite tools and does some amazing things, but it's definitely unruly. It is like it do its own things without compromising too much. Even though they've done an extraordinary job with the UX and the UI. Midjourney developed its own UI only after refining its controls through Discord and its community. Maybe that's why it retains a bit of of an archaic edge, just like my cat. That said, the interface users the interface uses new standard patterns to simplify and make more complex parameters more understandable. Users can manage LLM variables playing around with the UI and learn how to use the tool with simple preset controls, well explained, and with sliders to calibrate model parameters. What's interesting is that more advanced users aren't excluded from the possibility of using more technical options through prompt input. Here we see a feature on Google related to AI, which enables optimized resource consumption, a navigation software that suggests the best routes to optimize fuel use. Why not apply the same concept to our software? What if we made users aware of their resources consumption by informing them about tokens, costs, and the environmental impact on planet of their action? so that they can make more responsible and cautious decisions. Artificial intelligence is a powerful force, and today, saying that a product uses AI to sell it has almost become a requirement. But we must be careful as product designer not to overload our product and developers with unnecessary complex or over-engineered solutions. The real goal is to recognize the problem and choose the most effective solution, which is not always the most complex. Talking about complex stuff, at Radical Bit, I have the privilege of working in a highly technical product, also in open source platform, aimed at data scientists. The product for AI control is a growing market that requires determined designers who enjoy working with strong structural constraint. They view design as a tool that adapts to technical needs while recognizing the importance of minimizing cognitive load. If you're a designer who loves working with different mindset or technical product with intricate interfaces and UX, this is your world, and it's all under construction. A difficult product in terms of UX poses a significant challenge for designers. However, with a thoughtful and methodological approach, it is possible to create satisfying user experience even for the most complex tasks. Some products are complex by nature and require a steep learning curve, also for the user. Providing an intuitive user experience for data scientists in these cases demands a deep understanding of user needs and habitudes and careful design minimal interfaces. Probably in the realm of AI, you will encounter MVP solutions, where the ability to synthesize is crucial. You may have amazing ideas that can't be implemented right away. And the challenge for you will be to rein in our creativity to focus on what is truly important. So, how can we determine if a feature is important? By analyzing user needs. Well, I assure you that finding a significant sample of AI technicians to interview is not easy. It's no coincidence where we are talking about difficult products. A suggestion: if you don't have external users, starting with the proto personas, hypothetical personas, and testing with internal users and stakeholders might not be a bad idea. In designing complex product, it is essential to understand the limitation of the adopted model and the feasibility constraint of the proposed solution. Knowing the technical capabilities of the team and available solution helps defining realistic goals, preventing pursuit of unachievable ideas. A constant dialogue between designers and engineers foster the adaptation of proposal, ensuring that creative vision remains aligned with actual technical possibilities. Some feasible problems can blow up during the development. We are working out of our comfort zone. As we mentioned, we are not following existing path. We are inventing solutions using new emerging patterns. Communication is always a fundamental aspect among stakeholders, and I think design system is a really good tool. Involving technological figure from data and modeling in the early stages of design is crucial, as is working with real data. Let's say that mocking up charts for an app like Strava is not quite the same as creating monitoring charts where the output is unreadable for a designer and must be precisely match the characteristics of complex data itself. It's a dirty job, but someone has to do it. And fates happen. Accept it and be ready to understand our mistakes. Grasp as much as possible about the data and flows and finalize for the next iteration. In conclusion, we can say that embracing change is now the only option. We must be mindful of the risks. AI, like the Leviathan, is powerful, but also dangerous if we don't control it and make it accessible and democratic. As designers, we play a key role not only as a users, but more importantly as creators. UX gives the machine a heart, and our sensitivity to issues like access to technology for everyone, shared knowledge, and the real impact on the planet defines the value with which society educates the Leviathan. I'd like to conclude that by thanking one of my mentors, someone who has been a valuable guide for me, Mr. Edward Berman. He wrote Internet New Leviathan, helped and guided me to prepare this speech. One other thing, you can find me almost everywhere as a Cyber Marinella. And if you follow me in LinkedIn during these days, you'll find funny information and tips on my page. So we will see you later. Bye.